The morning mist still clung to the shattered fields of Normandy when a column of M4 Sherman tanks rolled forward, their engines growling like distant thunder. To the soldiers inside, these steel beasts were more than machines. They were lifelines. Yet behind the comforting hum of their engines lay an unspoken truth, one whispered among crews and commanders alike. The Sherman, the symbol of American industrial might during World War II, was both a savior and a death trap. In the chaos of battle, a Sherman's silhouette meant hope to infantry pinned down by German fire. It was a moving fortress, a reassurance that help had arrived. But for the men inside, each engagement was a silent wager against death. They knew what the enemy's guns could do. They had seen Shermans burn before. Its name inspired pride and dread in equal measure, a contradiction that defined the tank's place in history. If you're drawn to untold stories from the past, to the human side of machines and history itself, make sure to like and subscribe. There are many more such journeys ahead. The story of the Sherman begins not with triumph, but with necessity. In 1940, as Europe burned and France fell, the U.S. Army realized it had no modern tank to stand against the German panzers sweeping across the continent. The M3 Lee, rushed into production as a stopgap, revealed the Army's limitations. It was tall, clumsy, and unsuited for modern warfare. From this urgency emerged the M4 Sherman, designed in record time. It was not revolutionary, but reliable. The tank's power plant, a Continental R975 radial aircraft engine, gave it around 400 horsepower, enough to propel its 30-ton frame at 25 to 30 miles per hour. Its 75mm M3 gun could fire high explosive, armor-piercing, and smoke rounds, making it versatile against both infantry and light armor. By 1942, American factories were producing Shermans faster than Germany could replace its armored divisions. The secret was standardization. Each Sherman, regardless of where it was built, could share parts with another. Engines, tracks, transmissions, all interchangeable. It was an industrial miracle, reflecting a uniquely American philosophy. Wars are not won only by the best weapon, but by the one that can be built in overwhelming numbers. When the Sherman first met German armor in North Africa in 1942, it performed admirably. Against Panzer IIIs and early Panzer IVs, its gun and mobility proved decisive. American and British tankers finally had something that could fight on equal terms. Yet this balance was short-lived. By 1943, Germany had introduced heavier tanks, the Tiger Wife and Panther, whose armor and weapons redefined armored warfare. The Sherman, designed for speed and reliability, suddenly found itself outclassed. The Tiger's 88mm cannon could destroy a Sherman at 2,000 meters. The Sherman's gun was barely effective beyond 800 inside the tank. The conditions were harsh. Temperatures could exceed 40 degrees Celsius, the roar of the engine deafening. When hit, the Sherman's gasoline fuel could ignite the interior in seconds. The crews nicknamed it Tommy Cooker, or Ronson, after the cigarette lighter that lights up the first time. The U.S. Army learned fast to the men who fought inside. The Sherman was a paradox, both a friend and a gamble. Crews learned to compensate for its weaknesses with courage, coordination, and improvisation. Accounts from veterans reveal an almost emotional bond with their machines. Tanks bore names like Battling Bitch, In the Mood, or Thunderbolt Sergeant Lafayette Poole, one of America's most successful tank commanders, achieved over 250 confirmed kills in a Sherman. He understood that survival depended not on armor, but on tactics. See first, shoot first, hit first. The Sherman became part of a greater system of warfare. Combined arms. Infantry protected tanks from ambushes, while tanks suppressed machine guns and bunkers airstrikes cleared the way ahead. No single element could win alone, but together they formed the war machine that liberated Europe. And still, for many, the memory of battle never faded. Survivors described the smell of fuel and metal, the vibration of treads, and the haunting silence after combat ended. A silence filled with absence. Beyond the battlefield, the Sherman's design adaptability was unmatched. It served as a platform for dozens of specialized vehicles: flamethrower variants for the Pacific Islands, bulldozer tanks for clearing debris, bridge layers, recovery vehicles, and amphibious WW2 Shermans that swam ashore during the Normandy landings. The uncomfortable truth about the Sherman lies not in its design flaws, but in its philosophy. It was built around an idea. No single machine wins a war. Instead, an army of them does. Commanders accepted the grim arithmetic. Some tanks would burn, some crews would not come home, but production lines would keep rolling. In this way, the Sherman embodied the industrial soul of total war. Human courage fused with mechanical inevitability. The Army valued a system that could sustain momentum over a weapon that could dominate single duels. Today, the Sherman stands silent in museums and memorial parks. Children climb its hull, unaware of the lives once sealed inside. Veterans who served in them remember the sound of treads over cobblestones, the metallic scent of oil and cordite, the vibration that shook through the soles of their boots. The M4 Sherman story is not one of perfection. It is one of endurance. It reminds us that strength often lies in persistence, not in vulnerability. Its legacy speaks of human ingenuity under pressure, and the cost of victory paid in both steel and flesh. History rarely grants simple heroes. The Sherman was neither the strongest nor the safest, but it was there, everywhere, turning the tide of a global conflict 1 mile at a time. It is the story of how imperfection, multiplied thousands of times, can change the world. If you found this story compelling, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. More forgotten stories of history await beyond the next horizon.